All right, so we'll get started. It's 7:04, and I'll call the meeting to order. I'm Charlie Pensabene, President of the East English Board of Trustees. We'll start with a review of the agenda. If anyone has any comments or thoughts on that.
Are we adding the motion about the air handler unit to the new business? Is that what they're?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then we'll move on to public comment. Seeing no one, we'll move on to approval of the minutes.
They went out to everyone, didn't hear anything back. Does anyone have any edits, corrections? Additions?
We'll do a motion to approve the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 library board meeting. Motion from Mary, second. Second from Kami. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 approved. So motion carries 6-0. We'll move on to treasurer reports.
So the library remains within budget at this time. We're 43% of the year completed. We're in good financial standing, but I feel like I do have a little bit more to say. This isn't than usual. Books and materials this period was 8% over budget, mainly due to yearly subscriptions and periodicals upfront costs. However, we have had increased tool usage, which I think we did talk about last month. And so Joe recommends to continue to monitor this line and maybe adjusting the budget if
Increase what usage?
Hoopla. And I think overdrive, I think like overdrive contributions.
Drive and Hoopla or?
I think Hoopla is more, but I think they're in the same space.
E-books.
Yes. Yeah. In addition, our facilities, I guess we should also kind of keep our eye on the radar. Our utilities were 16% higher than budgeted, and snow removal was 40% higher than anticipated. Sure. And so again, we're still within budget, but something we might want to consider adjusting in the near future. Operations are under budget, it's good news. And given these expenses, we still, like I said, have enough money to cover our obligations. A couple larger expenses, there was a check for $89,000 that was for the EFIS work. We finally paid for part of that, but that was all part of the plan. There was $600 for service for heat pump repairs, $3,700 for overdrive for books and audiobooks, and then $5,400 for landscaping, mowing, and cleanup. Those are kind of noteworthy expenses. Project remains on budget, including contingency. You guys have any questions about the information? So there is a motion to accept the off warrant in the amount of $220,936.47 for the period of May 10th, 2025 through June 6th, 2025 as presented.
Katie for the motion, and second we got Kami. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
Motion to authorize the president to sign the warrant for the period of May 10th, 2025 through June 6th, 2025 in the amount of $27,419.79.
Amanda? Grace?
Motion to approve the June 6th, 2025 financials with 43% of the year completed as presented.
Second, Mary, any discussion? All in favor? Carries 6-0. So we'll move on to services committee.
So the primary thing that we discussed was the programming policy, which had been amended, and we were just kind of furthering that discussion and finalizing some of the details. So we talked a lot about whether we would allow presenters to sell their products if they were presenting here. And oh my God, it feels like it was a million years ago, like I don't even, and we decided yes, right? Yeah. Okay, we decided yes, because it is a contract with the library, so it would never be something that we don't approve of or we're not comfortable with someone bringing in, because it would be kind of vetted ahead of time and then presented when the description of the program is published to the public. So, for example, a magician is coming and a magician sells a magic kit. Or an author, originally it was original works, like an author comes, an author can sell their text that they wrote. But we felt like it was fair to open it up and say, sell whatever, and it would be a contract ahead of time, and it would require approval by Jill. It would be in the contract, so it would, we felt comfortable with it because we wouldn't be blindsided by someone showing up with some random product that we didn't feel fit with our strategic plan and our objectives. So that was the first. Do we want to save the voting for this motion until the end of the services presentation, or do we want to vote on that now?
I just wanted to clarify for what I'm understanding. So this programming policy is only for library-specific programs.
Approved library
Yeah,
programs.
so that it's partnership with the library.
Yes.
So there, it's the library sponsored, it's not the meeting room policy
Yes.
where other programs come in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So that was attached.
And just for what it's worth, so I saw some clarification type things, but not anything that impacts the policy. So just the in that language, the library can take upon themselves. This is an amendment to the policy anyway. So I just, I want really, and Jenna, and I
Clarifiers that are in the
so it
policy
will,
as stated.
yes.
Okay.
So it's language, different wording, but not anything that changes the policy.
When I looked at it, I thought it looked cute, but I don't know, I don't need clarification, I don't know if anyone else wanted clarification. But I felt comfortable with it when I looked at it overall. So do we want to vote on that now or wait until the services is done? Okay.
Yeah. So
So the committee makes the motion. So we just, I guess we need a second at this point.
So motion to approve the programming policy as amended, motion from the committee, second. Any discussion? So then all in favor? All right, 6-0, motion carries.
And then in terms of the succession planning and the board matrix, we just shared an update because we had met as an ad hoc committee. But what we decided was that it just made sense to wait until the election. We didn't want to isolate anyone. We wanted to give everyone a fair shake, and we felt like the best way to do that is just to allow the election to play out, and that way the community can decide fairly. And we didn't want to choose someone and marginalize someone else, and we didn't really feel like it was a big enough payoff, especially with Mary being kind enough to stay on as long as she has. It would be such a short time period, and since we're taking on more than one, it made sense also to kind of train everybody up at the same time. So that was what the ad hoc committee decided, and we just passed that information along at the services meeting. But we do hope to host a Meet the Trustees kind of open house. We picked the date in September. September 7th.
Or the 14th.
So it would just kind of be like as many of us as possible, and we would just meet people who are interested, answer their questions, kind of let them know what this is about and what it requires, why we do it, and then field any questions that people might have. We thought that might help people to see, is it truly a good fit for them, and just to spread knowledge and make it an accessible event that anyone could attend if they're curious. So we have some other items coming up, but as of the meeting, these were the main two topics that we discussed.
So turning to
The first thing on my list is already outdated, so was a discussion about the air handler unit, which at the time we were waiting on quotes, and now apparently it's got even worse. We'll get to that later. But we did discuss that. We discussed a lot of the construction, as you know, that EFIS is almost done, the windows are almost done. At that time, we were getting samples for the walk-off mat and the canopy, and we were in the process of getting the builder's permit, and looks like that has already happened, so we're getting there, Personnel update, again, there's been a few changes since. But hopefully it seems like we're gonna start interviewing and hiring again soon, so fingers crossed, especially for that custodial worker, which seems like it might be difficult to fill. So if you know anybody, please send them their way. And we discussed the life insurance, which I know I've mentioned this previously, but I already thought we had this, so and we've got a proposal for it. The estimated annual cost is $2,200. That's a drop in the bucket. So we're adding a motion to, the administrative committee is gonna move to propose to implement the approval of implementing a group basic term and life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance policy for all full-time employees, which is estimated within the 2025 personnel benefits budget line. So that's the motion for today. Do you have any questions on the policy?
What would that look like budget
It
wise?
was $2,200.
Did you say that? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, I didn't. I was
It's okay. Yeah, it's like $2,200. It's like, we did a bigger increase, I think, last month was one of the things we added on, so. That's okay.
So Amanda, can I just, a motion to propose the approval of implementing?
Yeah,
Really a motion to approve implementation, or is it a motion to?
it is a lot of word salad here.
Yeah, so is it to look for the benefits?
No, I think they got a proposal, we got a proposal for it, so.
Yeah.
We're just
you know it's gonna be
implementing it,
22.
so, yeah. I think we're just, I think the question is, we approve it, but Jill does the implementing, so. Do we need to reword that again, or?
I don't think so. I think it accomplishes. So I think that captures Joe.
Right. I think that's what we were thinking when we wrote it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
And we're gonna be looking to work on the draft reserves policy, so just a reminder to go into Teams, look at it if you haven't, so that we can make sure that we discuss it and get it ready for next meeting. Also gonna have apparently the first budget meeting scheduled for July 21st. We're gonna later talk about the budget committee and things like that further on in tonight's meeting.
Did you kind of come up with a time for the meeting?
I don't think we had at the time,
I think we can gauge our interest.
depended on, it's like, depending on who was available.
Yeah, it was gonna be available and that helps figure out the timing.
Is there any? You're the chairperson.
I mean, I think I'm flexible, so I think whoever. Kind of look at who's the least available and go from there.
I think she wanted to see who was, like, I think tonight we were gonna form the budget committee. And then from those people who form the committee, what time is the preference or what time is the most available for everyone?
And I think too, some of the dates were a little bit shifted because I could be wrong, but I think Jill and I are on vacation back-to-back weeks,
Okay.
which maybe has, so one of the dates have to be shifted. When she was looking at last year's timeline. So she did send me an email saying that she was working on those dates.
July 1st is definitely the first.
July 21st.
21st.
See, and I kind of said, I'm happy to be on the committee. I don't need it planned around me. If I'm available, I go. So I'm open to just kind of like letting the committee decide and then I'll attend when I can. I don't want to make it about, if I'm the only one who can't come at a certain time, I don't want to force everyone else's hand.
Yeah, and that's how we've been doing it,
Yeah.
it's not like if you're not volunteering on the committee, you can't come.
Right.
You participate,
Right.
fits for your schedule, so it's
Right.
so an inclusive committee for folks.
Any update about the assistant director position? Or is, I know she
No,
said
here
that
she said
interviews.
there's interviews.
Yeah, scheduled for next week.
And as we saw, they're gonna do the building permit, we got the building permits, we can build this person.
Right.
Things are coming along, yeah.
That's for a minute.
That's it.
Thank you. And then, yeah, we kind of touched on a little bit with the packets being available on July 15th for full tab for trustee including if anyone has anyone in mind. Just, it's where just under a month until packets are available. So if you have folks who are interested, flag for them if the packets will be available next month. I'm happy to, chat and talk through what's entailed on potentially becoming a trustee and running. And then we'll shift to, Jill sent some, director's reports highlights. I'll hold on the air handler report with that under new business. But generally, window installation started up and this work is almost done. For as Amanda mentioned, the construction for the assistant director's space, the town approved the building permit. So they're gonna probably start construction on that late June, early July. Next week for assistant director, interviews. And for program engagement, the Friends are still doing recruitment for artists and sponsors for their fundraiser in October. For the Rensselaer County Career Center continues to grow. The reading kickoff on the 30th on Monday. And then for usage and statistics, the May visits up 20% from last May. Increase in physical and digital borrowing. Program attendance increased 21%, which is really good to see. 26% increase in meeting room reservations and 2% library card increase. And then budget planning on the back end or the front end. Jill got requests of the departments to have their plans submitted. So we'll have something for our work in July. And that's like the major highlights to flag, so appreciate Jill putting those together. And then the other portion of Jill's report here, we've got the personnel memo. So it looks like we had the one reservation from maintenance, 2 classification changes, the library clerk and substitute assistant, library assistant, and then we noted and discussed a little bit the ongoing search for the assistant director, building maintenance, and then that library assistant spot opening, so currently full spots.
We know if the library assistant's been posted or? Okay, because I know people who were interested last time.
It wasn't on the website today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess probably wouldn't be if she's not leaving till August
okay, that makes
25th,
sense, yeah.
so. All right, I'll just keep it back with me.
Yeah. Motion to approve the personnel memo. Amanda, second. Amy, any discussion or comments? All in favor? Right, 6-0, so personnel memo is approved. And then we will go to liaison reports. So we will go to Tammy.
I don't really have anything to report, like heavy duty. We had the annual meeting last Wednesday and last Wednesday evening, and it was a really beautiful night in Troy. It was packed down there, and it was just a nice night of, networking and seeing friends, and East Greenwich people over there, and it was great. And Lynn, yeah, so she won the, it was just a nice night. It was a nice night.
I have a little supplemental to that. I walked with Upper Hudson for the Pride Parade, and there were 5 libraries besides Upper Hudson staff that attended, including us. Troy Public Library, Guilderland, Bethlehem, and Wilmington Public were there.
Nice.
And so many people were so excited to see the libraries in the parade. It was like constantly we're getting yelled at, we love the library. Like, you couldn't go 10 feet without people screaming that. And it was just so amazing to see.
Yeah.
And this parade is packed.
Yes. Yeah. I went last
So
year.
there were 2,800 people marching in the
It's
parade,
fun, yeah.
including
It's
our
fun.
group of like 50 people, which was really cool. So
And you walked in the Memorial Day parade.
I did, yeah. But not for Upper Hudson.
Great.
just
No,
for
I know,
our
great.
library.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
I like walking in parades.
Yeah,
It's fun.
it was fun last year.
So, yeah, so I figured it through that, because it was
Yeah,
organized
no,
by
it was
Upper
good,
Hudson,
yeah.
so. It was really cool, and we've got plans for next year. Jenna in the team room, she and I were like, got some ideas from what the other libraries did, so.
Okay.
So next year, we encourage you all to come out and walk with
A
us.
little competition.
Well, you know what, it was
Okay.
funny because we were walking and I heard somebody yell, I don't see the Colony Library. And I was like,
It's true.
Jenna, remember that.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't have like the
Right.
biggest.
It was, I mean, the biggest group was Guilderland.
Okay, I would have thought Bethlehem.
No,
Okay.
Bethlehem had the van.
Okay.
So they brought the van that everybody could ride in and had the water and stuff. But Guilderland had the most people.
All right.
Followed by APO, but
Yeah.
that makes sense because they have about 1 billion branches.
Yeah.
So did you carry the banners?
I
Is that
did
how-
carry the banner. We carried
Wow.
the summer reading banner. It wasn't
Okay,
the Easter
cute,
English one. It was the color, our world we
Yeah,
have, so
that's a
we
good
walked
one.
with that. Because it fit the theme
Yeah,
and
no,
it
that's
really
awesome.
worked
Good.
really well. And it had our logo in the upper corner so people could see who we were.
Good.
Although we kind of blended in a little with Bethlehem, it wasn't intentional, but they kept stopping. Because they had inflatable balls to give out, so. Like little beach balls.
Yeah, that's cute.
Then when they ran out of those, they gave out the bags that they were holding them in, there was a library, tote bags.
That's really nice.
I know.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was really cool, so.
From friends or town or county. So we move on, nothing for unfinished business, but as we mentioned earlier, for new business, budget, we're gonna establish a budget development committee. So anyone have an interest in participating?
Everyone.
Yeah, pretty much everyone. All right.
I think Kayla said she was
Yeah,
interested as
yeah,
well.
So that's good, I appreciate everyone's interested.
Yeah, Mary loves this stuff.
Dude, scale back.
So, not mandatory.
I mean, I love you.
Need the eyebrow.
Yeah.
And again, like we said, can't make it, you know.
Yeah,
can't make it
yeah,
much more.
it sounds like if someone can't make it,
Yeah.
there's be a ton of other
Yeah,
people that are.
everyone's got an opportunity for input and everyone can consult with each other, so that's awesome. And then, yeah, we discussed too, meet the trustees, so that's exciting for when, you know, on the back end of summer, when we get folks submitting packets and potentially interested in running. And that'll complement, I think, the advancement of the budget over time to go with that, the election. And then the last thing for that was the air handler. So Jill had mentioned to me, I know it's kind of been ongoing for.
Attention library takers, the library will be closed in 30 minutes. Please use your time accordingly. Thank you.
So yeah, so she mentioned, I think it's gotten recently, it got a little worse, and I think the way she was describing it, my brain went to it getting more humid. That never helps, I think, with HVAC and AC issues. So with circulating water, I think that part is really stopped being effective or efficient. So I think that kicked it into her thinking of doing a replacement at $63,980. She do, and then just to cover a little bit, approving a replacement of up to $65,000 to do that tonight, just to give her the emergency funding to do that, because I think otherwise going out to bid would be a little too inflexible. And we have the purchasing flexibility with it being an emergency issue. Otherwise, we could do a special board meeting when she gets that process rolling and come back and do it. But I think she was thinking the sooner we do it, the less stress it is on the system.
Especially if they get.
Yeah.
Fine.
And she's working with the architect and the engineer
Yeah.
who we've already engaged with, so to me, that's kind of a no-brainer.
I mean, if it qualifies under emergency repair, or replacement, I think that should be okay, but.
Yeah, and we would go through our non-restricted capital reserve fund, reduce that balance down to about 435,000, she said. So there's still a good chunk in there.
Is there another place we could pull it from, or like, it wouldn't fit under like one of the facilities lines or anything?
Grants that we had to like. It had to be a new project. Get this.
I think, I don't think this is part of the project.
Right, no, it's
Yeah,
not, that's what I'm
right.
thinking.
Yeah, I think
if
the
we
grants
had-
have a long lead time.
This is an
right?
emergency,
Yeah.
yeah, so
I think this is why we have the reserve.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
yeah.
I mean, fair, I just wondered if there was an alternative
Yeah.
rather than using
Yeah,
reserve.
Both things always replenish.
yeah, let's move on to that.
Right, yeah, I mean, it seems like you could juggle in the budget later and.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we could
Yeah.
do that, that would be my preference, but obviously with the amount of paper we have in the building and the amount of certainly.
Yeah.
You don't want it to get muggy in here.
So we need to do a motion.
Yeah, so
up to
do a
60.
motion to authorize the director to work, distribution,
Or to consider.
to consider approval
re-
of replacement.
Replacement. to 60.
So I think we could do motion to approve a replacement up to $65,000 for,
Non-restricted capital.
yeah.
And if it is over
She'd have to.
65,000, we would have to hold a special meeting
Yeah.
or, okay.
So we'll do motion to approve.
A motion to authorize director to utilize capital or non-restricted capital reserve funds for $65,000 to repair, or I don't know, is there
I don't think we're.
It's not repair,
It's
replacement?
Yeah.
Is this the amount? Like, are we being silly saying 65? Should we say like 70 and then we don't have to come back to the table, or is that?
Did she get it
You're
for
responsible.
63?
Well, it says that the HVAC vendor communicated that.
Yeah.
So it should be
This replacement is
true amount.
required at a cost of
Yeah.
63.
I think that's the more definite number.
Well, she's requesting here,
Anyway,
she's
she's
asking
65.
for approval up to
Up to
65,000,
yeah.
so that's her
She emailed
request.
me this afternoon. It's at approximately 68. But this is more official than.
Yeah, you know what time?
Yeah, it's not typo. Could have been a typo. Well, should we just, I mean, she's saying, Jenna, do you know if there was a?
I don't know if it's 5K automatic. If it's-
Yeah, I think we should do 70 just
Yeah.
in case, because now we have two conflicting numbers.
Right, and then that way, and you just never know, like, oh,
Yeah.
we needed to
It could
order
be-
this stupid
Yeah.
thing,
I
and
know.
like, now we're coming back to the
Somebody
table
dropped
to
a
nickel
part
and dime
number.
about
Right.
$1,000 when this is a $60-something thousand project.
I think
It
that's
seems
just
negligible.
I mean, if we're gonna spend it, we're gonna spend it.
Yeah.
Right,
And then if we don't, then it's there.
but it has to happen, it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, it's not a negotiable.
and if they say it costs this, then we have to pay it.
They don't know what we're
So-
saying, right? They're not gonna change the price based on what we.
Right, what we, they don't know.
You have the language.
Motion to authorize the director to utilize non-restrictive capital reserve funds up to 70,000 to replace the air handler unit.
Everyone agree?
Yeah.
Alright, so,
What are your notes?
Yeah, no, I will, yeah, all right, let me write it better.
Okay.
Scratch, scratch.
make the motion. I'll make the motion, yeah, Amanda makes the motion, second. Nicole, all in favor? 6-0, motion is approved. Alright, we'll solve it and makes the busy season of the library work out well.
I know.
Hopefully the summer reading launches outside.
Yeah.
That looks like so much fun though. They're gonna touch a truck, they're gonna have a petting zoo, like, it's gonna be cool, and I wish I had the day off.
Every year we're on vacation, the kickoff, we miss it every year, and I'm always like, it's okay for the beach, but still.
Yes, the beach. Can't be mad at it.
Do we wanna set a time? Do we wanna say that all the budget committees are at this certain time, or do we wanna be fluid so that it's accessible to?
I mean, I know that I can only meet after 5:30.
Okay, after
I can only
5:30.
meet after 5:30. If you find you need to have a meeting at like 1 o'clock, I'm just not gonna be there, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's same for me, really.
I think,
Okay.
what I'm saying, most people
Then we
are
should just say
separate.
Do
Yeah.
you wanna pick a time though and say like, we always meet at 6 or 5:30 or 7 or whatever, so that it's consistent and it's easy to maintain?
Yes. I like
Yeah, that's
things
a
that
good
are easy to
idea.
remember,
Yeah,
so yes, but
Okay, so with.
6 would probably be good, because I think Kayla can't get here till 6.
Yeah, I think so.
What day of the week?
There were set dates, like one was July, the first one was July 21st, which I know that I'll be away for, but,
That was Monday.
yeah, I don't know. I can search my calendar and see when the other ones are, I don't know if someone has them written all together.
I think they were going to shift though, because of,
The first one's a
so I think the
Monday.
ones that are, I think they're gonna change.
Okay, so, all right, I have that one in, the July 21st at 6, I can't come to it anyway, but it's in there at least, so.
So it means,
So-
it doesn't, on the agenda, it says TBD, but it really isn't. It's July
Yeah, it's,
21st.
yeah, it's July 21st.
The first one. And then you're gonna say it's gonna be at 6.
Yeah, we'll do 6.
And then is the committee going to consist of all of the trustees, or are you gonna? I'm sorry. Because you,
I'm sorry that-
yeah.
Yeah.
So you might want, I mean, I'm fine to back off and just
I
attend
am-
meetings,
Yeah, I
but
am too.
just
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't
wanna
wanna
make
mess
sure
it
you
up.
have at least.
So it
got
doesn't-
committee.
Yeah, you go from, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be ever.
It can be,
It
I
can
think,
be, but
yeah,
it's-
it's just funny, I'm just, it effectively becomes a board meeting again. We got we have a quorum.
Just wanna have enough people
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
committee so that you can.
Do you wanna just think about it?
No, you have to.
What is
do
it, well,
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
anybody, I know, like, who's really interested versus like, I'll come if I can, right? Is that
Yeah.
the, who are we planning around?
Katie and I said we would come if we could.
Or, you're Nicole. Caleb. I'm looking right at you, I'm like, wait, Caleb.
I don't have to be, I mean, I don't wanna make it like.
Yeah, I mean, Kayla and I
But
probably
you-
should be on it because
You're
our terms are still going.
Right.
You guys are, your
Yes.
terms are ending whether
Yeah.
you are running or not.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it makes most sense for the three of us who are here
Yeah.
next year to be present at those meetings. So.
So do you want me to, so make it me, Kayla, Amanda, Nicole, and then everyone else is supposed to go.
Oh,
If you, I mean, unless you, yeah,
yeah, you guys can come to meetings, if you want to.
Mhm.
And it's no pressure on you guys.
Gonna be making.
Not just me,
Yeah.
that's just for there.
Nice.
anything else?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
if
no,
you
no,
use
no, no,
anything
no.
else,
Yeah, no.
not on that, I was thinking I wouldn't mind helping in any way for the Meet the Trustees open house.
Yeah.
Like I,
Yeah.
you know, I say help, little, whatever, I sort of see it like the volunteer night, but maybe not as extravagant with the food and all the pastries and things like that, but a little like tea and crumpet type of thing. And then I thought maybe we could, all maybe prepare a little something, and maybe we can put it up on do a video. It could just be a casual, like, hi, I'm Nicole,
Would you rather do that just live or in a video?
I thought it'd be cute in a video, because maybe then, I don't know.
I think maybe
Maybe a little
people
bit-
who couldn't attend could do a video.
Yeah.
Like, I've,
You would feel
having
like,
been taped
hi,
before for that
hi.
kind of stuff, I absolutely hate that for me. Personally, cause when I did Jeopardy, we were interviewed, like you had to do these hometown howdies, which
Yeah.
were stupid commercial you had to do. And I screwed up so badly so many times.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't like, I don't like staged video,
But
that's
you-
me personally, but I
you'd be
would,
better on
I'd
the
have,
spot?
yeah, I'm not on the spot person.
Okay.
I'll go off the cuff, I mean, you guys.
I also feel like if what's the value in us being there if you're just gonna like watch
Right.
us on a screen?
True, I guess, yeah,
Unless you're
Yeah.
like.
Oh, I just thought it could be like
comfortable
more
doing that, that's
like a
fine,
video,
but,
maybe
like,
about,
my thought is to have packets there and then have us like help get, like, sign them. Like if a person's interested, be like, okay, here, I'm a resident, I'll sign right now. Like, that's a great way to help somebody get started who might not have the community access that
Right.
the rest of us do.
yeah, I think I was thinking to do that versus on the spot, like, and now, here's the microphone, and,
I mean,
Tell
you
us
could
about
prepare
yourself,
it
like-
in advance, like maybe a little speech
yeah,
or
like a little
something.
bio, like, hi, I'm this, and what, what draw you
Yeah.
to, what's your interest, and how did you get here, type thing.
Maybe the succession planning, whatever we call that ad hoc committee, maybe we get together and kind of come up with a structure for that.
That's a good
Meet
idea.
the candidates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like, 5 questions that everybody answers or something.
True, yeah, that'd be cute.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows what the. This is probably
Yeah,
need
right.
to, yeah, I think we talked about it being on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking too, right, if it's a function of being there to help folks who are potentially interested in running, see who's gonna run, I think is, you don't have to run to be there. If
Right.
you're interested, you can show up, right?
Right.
The most value is gonna be the people who have a packet, so I think gauging how many people, is it one person picking up a packet and one person potentially gonna go, versus like, you got 15 packets out there. Like I think that could also change the tenor of the conversation or what you focus on. It might be with 1 or 2 people with packets for 1 or 2 spots, like, for a small number of board seats, like it could be a little more informal or like round
Right.
table conversation. almost
Right,
like
I
this.
do think that it can't be overplanned. I think there
Yeah.
has to be a
that's a good
level
point.
Yeah.
of
I think that, now that we're talking about it,
kind
yes.
of letting just the situation play out and
Right.
kind of gauge accordingly.
Yeah.
Like it would be really awkward to have like one person in the audience while we all like paddle along.
no,
Where we can keep it more
Yeah, that's true
informal.
too.
Yeah.
I also
More
think
training,
it's
yeah.
it's important, obviously we'll post it publicly, but to extend an invitation to the candidates who showed interest, who
Yeah.
expressed interest, and just invite them personally
Yeah.
so that they have that added layer of being included.
Yeah.
And I think it's important too for those people to make sure that this is something that they earnestly want to do. So this would be a great way for them to just warrant that determination before making further commitment and realizing this is.
Cause it's a
Yeah.
5-year commitment, you're not
Right,
just
right.
committing to 3 years like a school board or it's 5. Well, 4 for whoever takes Mary's spot, but.
Well, if
4 or 5
No,
years.
actually, it might be less.
Is it?
Yeah,
No.
'cause I ended up in Michael's. So, yeah, because Michael left early and then I got.
Then you got elected in his spot. 'Cause you
Yeah,
were
right,
pregnant.
yeah.
No, you're right, it is a 3-year term. Okay, so I take that back.
Nonetheless, there would be at least one other that's 5 though, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
even 3 is, it's
Yeah,
a commitment. I mean, it's not nothing.
That's true.
right. The expectation. Was there a reason no, there probably was, that we said September for the meeting?
Because we wanted to avoid the summer, knowing that the summer is so busy. But we wanted to do it as early on as we could with avoiding the summer. Okay.
You can also use, the schools will be back by then, so we can use
Yeah.
that tool to promote the meet the trustees thing. Cause they put in Parent Square, they'll put the libraries on, whatever the library sends them that week, so
That's good.
you can see like the events and stuff. I don't know if they do that for the high school kids, but they do for the elementary kids. That's how I find out about stuff here, even though I try to keep up.
Did anyone go to the Friends meeting? It looked like there was a good group in there.
Yeah.
I was just curious how the fundraiser went.
I know, I told Julia, my aunt's gonna donate 2 paintings for the sale. So she's an artist and she lives in Sackett Harbor, but I was like, she's an artist, well, let me ask her. And she's like, yeah, I'll give you 2. I was like, okay. So, and you guys saw the board out here that has the sponsors on it, so they're getting there.
Yeah.
But still keep sending those in if you have anybody. The places we've already asked.
Nothing else? Everyone's favorite motion to adjourn, that's the June 17th, 2025 library board meeting. Mary, second. Amanda, all in favor? 6-0, motion carries. Awesome, well, thanks everyone, this was.
Thank you.
Great. Alex,
Not bad.
Yeah, thank you.